Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. That takes us to item B3. I think the appropriate thing is actually first motion to approve.
This is for the, you know what, we've had such a long break, I forgot how to do this. Motion to approve the Newport Festivals Foundation Incorporated doing business as Newport Folk Festival, Fort Adams State Park, July 26, 27, and 28, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, comments or questions from the council?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Council Romley.
is a representative from the Festival Foundation here? Would you mind coming up? And I believe we saw you last year as well. Could you introduce yourself for the council?
I'm Jennifer Reber, and I am the event director for the festival.
Great. Thank you, Jennifer. I want to start by saying we love these festivals. These are iconic events for the city of Newport. They bring in a lot of visitors. They bring a wonderful boost to our economy. I'm a personal fan. I've been to many in the past. And so I want to start with that. One of the some of the feedback I got from last year's folk festival and jazz festival, particularly the folk festival, the event has become extremely successful. And I think its stature as a local event that draws in people from far away has grown year after year. And I congratulate your foundation for that. But I got a lot of feedback from residents of Newport that they couldn't get tickets to the event, that it's sold out so quickly, and that folks who live here and look forward to this event actually weren't able to get in and go. And so by no means is the approval of your event permit ever going to be in jeopardy in the city. But I would like to make a request to see if it's possible for some quantity of tickets to be reserved for Newport residents, people who live here. Not the summer renters, not the tourists, not somebody in a hotel, but folks who actually live here year round. If it is possible to reserve just some small block of pre-sale tickets for those folks.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the request. I'm somebody who can make that kind of a decision in a vacuum, certainly. It's something that I'm happy to bring back to the team and discuss. My role is really in the production of the live event, and so the ticketing component is a little bit out of my purview, but I'm happy to bring that back to the team and let.
I would be very interested in hearing back on that because again, you know, the residents love these events. They also suffer a little bit from them with the traffic, and you know, we're not able to just go to a restaurant during Folk Festival. Those are positive things, but at the same time, they can be a bit difficult for some of the residents. And I do think some small token, you know, pre-sale block reserved for them would really demonstrate a lot of goodwill towards our locals.
Well, I appreciate your feedback. I'm happy to take that.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Councilor Napolitano.
I would like to thank Councilor Romley for bringing this up. I had a number of phone calls and people were telling me they were being Taylor Swift on the folk festival. So it would be really good if something could be set aside. You know, they've gone to them for years and suddenly they felt like they were blocked out.
I'm sorry, I missed the Taylor Swift reference. What was?
No, I'm referring to when her tickets, when nobody could get the ticket.
Oh, I see.
There is.
But-
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it just, I got those phone calls too. And I was real surprised because Newporters have always supported the folk festival. So I thank you for bringing it up, Counselor.
I believe there's one portion of the Newport population that's able to score tickets to at least Jazz Fest, and that's our public school students. Can you, do you have any information on that at all you might be able to provide about the work in our public schools, the Festival Foundation?
Dan Swain, he's in a much better position to discuss this. His purview extends beyond the festival to the foundation itself.
Yeah. Thanks, Jen. So we offer Rogers High School students free tickets to the Newport Jazz Festival every year. So every Rogers senior has the option to attend one of the days of the Newport Jazz Festival free of charge. We also offer the Newport Boys and Girls Club tickets to the Newport Folk and Jazz Festivals to attend. we offer numerous different nonprofits in town tickets to the Folk Festival and the Jazz Festival. So we are doing what we can on that front, and so we appreciate the concern, and we're doing what we can.
Additional questions from the council?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Council Carlin.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilor Napolitano, Councilor Romley, for bringing up those concerns. And I hope you are indeed able to do what Councilor Romley suggests. My concern is a little bit totally different, actually. Can you tell me, are you still working with, as you did last year, perhaps this is a better question for your colleague, are you still working with the Newport Police Department regarding traffic concerns, particularly since last year was a bit of trouble? Mark lives off of Harrison. I have many constituents, of course, on Harrison Avenue and the roads surrounding Harrison, Hammersmith, Beacon Hill, etc. The Folk Festival does a tremendous job with respect to trying to bring folks in by alternate transportation. The Jazz Festival, not so much. Have you, first of all, as I said a moment ago, or asked a moment ago, are you working with the police department to alleviate traffic concerns in that Third Ward neighborhood? And then secondly, if you have, can you tell us how you've been doing that briefly in terms of bringing folks in by shuttle, by boat, I should say, by bicycles, if at all, at the Jazz Festival, and or by shuttle boats launched either from the other side of the harbor or however you might be doing it? I know it's a long, extended, connected question, but if you could comment on any of that, I'd appreciate it.
Sure, I think probably both answer that to some degree. Yeah, I mean, we always work with the police. We work very closely with all of the different departments to make sure that the festival is safe and that we're mitigating the impact that we have on the community. You know, to what we can do to manage the space within the venue, which is really the area that we can personally control. And we work with the city and its various groups to help us figure out the best way to get people in and to do so safely. And they're on site. I mean, we work very closely with them hand in hand. We're not making any decisions in a vacuum. We have a huge bike program, as you say. It's very, very successful with folk, a little bit less so with jazz. We push it certainly just as hard. It's a little bit of a different group that comes to the Jazz Festival. It tends to be a little bit older and they don't quite avail themselves of the bike program as much. We encourage people to take shuttles. We encourage people to carpool. I think we do a really good job messaging various ways to get to the festival in order to make it as safe and again, mitigate as much of the traffic as possible. Much of it is out of our hands though. I mean, I think we're availing ourselves of the different opportunities that we have to give the public other ways to get there other than car. I can't think of any other way necessarily that we could be doing something different immediately to alleviate that.
Well, I appreciate the honest, the frank answer. And thank you for the efforts that you are making with respect to motor vehicle traffic and the blocking of certain streets, the backup of certain streets, the driveways of residents, et cetera. In part, I mention this because we have another special event coming up later in the agenda. And I'm very impressed by what the United States Golf Association and the Newport Country Club and their representatives have been doing with the police and fire department, meeting on a regular basis and specifically trying to alleviate those motor vehicle traffic concerns for the neighborhood. Take a look at what they're doing before the festivals take place, and maybe you can steal a couple of ideas. Thank you.
Additional questions from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor of item 3?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. That takes us to item B4.
Yes, motion to approve the Newport Festivals Foundation, Inc. doing business as Newport Jazz Festival, Fort Adams State Park, August 2nd and 3rd and 4th from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, just one closing comment. I would like to hear back, if possible, on the Newport resident reserve tickets. Thank you so much.
takes us to added item B5.
Yes, Adam, yes, motion to approve the United States Golf Association doing business as 2024 U.S. Senior Open Championship, Newport Country Club, June 24 to 30, 2024, from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Counselor Carlin, this is an item that was added to the agenda at your request.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be very brief. We have two things tonight regarding the aforementioned event. The first is before us now, the special event license that the council must approve. You heard me make comments just a moment ago. This is a fine event, bringing thousands and thousands of people to the city of Newport, generating an untold amount of revenue for local businesses and others. And it also gives the city of Newport, the Newport Country Club, and the USGA, well, it's hard to say, further credibility. These are three great institutions with credibility that nobody needs to add to, but it gives us all a very positive impact on the public in Newport. And overall, we expect that there will be folks from throughout the United States attending this fine event. The second, it's not before us now, but the second is the second item before us this evening is indeed a second reading of an ordinance change allowing for this event to take place by our zoning law. So, Mr. Chairman, I urge my colleagues to support this special event license. I thank the USGA, the Newport Country Club, Mr. Douglas. We also have our USGA representative, Mr. Mills, here. I thank Mr. Scott and I thank Attorney Hayes for being involved in this. You should all attend this great event. There will be tickets for Newporters at this event. That I do promise. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Any additional comments or questions? It's looking like quite the lineup for 2024 in Newport. Thanks for all your cooperation on making sure the impact to our communities, our community and neighbors is as moderate as it could be given the scale of this event. If there are no additional comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Motion to approve the 2023 annual reports, or I'm sorry, motion to receive the annual reports.
Is there a second? Councilor Napolitano.
Yes, this is the annual report for our boards and commissions. And I just want to take a moment to let the public know that we have listed here 11 of them. There's the Beach Commission, Canvassing Authority, Cliff Walk, Energy and Environment, Historic Cemetery, Historic District, Housing Authority, Planning Board, Tax Appeal Board, Tree and Open Space, and Waterfront Commission. And we're constantly in need of volunteers. So if you get a chance and you want to take a look, kind of explore Newport's information on our website, any of these boards and commissions, and you'd like to serve the city, we certainly would appreciate it. And as I went through all of the reports, I was impressed with the amount of work and the efforts submitted by volunteers in the city of Newport. It really makes Newport a very special place that we can enjoy different activities and know that people care about this community. So I urge you, if you have any interest at all in any of the boards or commissions, to please apply. And I'd like to thank them for their annual reports.
Additional comments or questions? Last year, as some people might remember, we heard directly from the different boards and commissions on their different plans, and the council was able to present questions in smaller groups of 3 or 4 at a time at ensuing council meetings. This year, the approach we'll take is if councilors have questions or a deeper level of interest in any of these reports, we'll do a workshop instead where those who have additional questions can attend and engage in questions with those boards and commissions so we can get a better feeling for what they're working on in more of a conversational setting rather than the formal one of council. But I think Councilor Napolitano put it very well, that our boards and commissions run the city and make sure it works between what we are doing up here on the dais and what the city staff does every single day in the community.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Councilor McCalla.
I'd also like to say to Councilor Napolitano's recommendation if people are interested in serving on our boards and commission, and and to your point, we will be hosting a workshop. I would encourage the public to also attend to get a feel. So in case folks may not know what each board and commission sort of do and what the issues and the topics are, it's a great way to come and just get a little more information and get engaged and maybe make a more informed decision if you're thinking about it, whoever you are out there.
Thank you, Council McCallum. Additional comments or questions from the council? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried.
Motion to approve a communication from the Rhode Island State Planning Council, Transportation Advisory Committee, public notice, a draft public participation plan 2024 limited update. This is a motion to receive. Do I have a second?
Second.
Comments or questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I think we all received an email from Barry Freeman of Bike Newport, and she could not be here tonight, but she did ask me to, she did actually ask me to just state that these participation plan is defined by the state, and the Transportation Advisory Committee has two principal purposes: to encourage early and continuing involvement in transportation planning process, and to develop in conjunction with the Division of Statewide Planning, transportation planning documents that are the responsibility of the State Planning Council. These documents include, but are not limited to, the State Transportation Improvement Plan, the Long Range Communication Plan, the Congestion Management Plan, and the Transit Master Plan, and the Statewide Bike Mobility Plan. So this is a very important, and she just wanted me to highlight that. So do I have a motion? I'm going to make a motion to receive this email from Barry Freeman. Do I have
Second.
a second?
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion's carried.
Mr. Chair, I made a mistake earlier and I did not pull item J. It was the communication from the Tree and Open Space Commission concerning the Park Ranger program. And I was wondering if we could just hear from Maureen Cronin. I think she has just some interesting facts that I would like the public to hear and the council to learn. So, of course, motion to approve the motion to receive the communication from the Tree and Open Space Commission having to do with the Park Ranger program. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, come on up, Maureen.
Maureen Cronin, 45 3rd Street. Good evening, Happy New Year, and nice to see all of you again. I'll just take a minute of your time about the Park Ranger report. Succinctly, I can tell you part of the reason I'm here tonight is to advocate very heavily that you take our recommendation to increase by one position when you're looking at the budget and elongated hours. You can read the report, of course, and you can see everything about it, but overarchingly, the most important reason that I would give in order for you all to consider that as you're going through budgeting is, while we show 5 distinct areas that we did metrics on during this beta program, and we showed over 2,000 interactions where the park rangers were able to take care of the interaction without having to engage the police department. All of those ended in goodwill. What you can't see is the thousands of other interactions that were non-infractions that created goodwill, laughter, a feeling of well-being that permeated the parks this year. It's also very, very important to look at this in the way that this program was done. There are people that really, really got together. This is a team effort. I cannot thank Chief Donnelly, Chief Duffy, Eric Reese, Scott Wheeler, Joe Nicholson when he was here. This program, Mike Corey, decided he was going to learn how to hire a park ranger. It was an amazing group that got together. There was never a question. There was never, I'm too busy. And it's just the kind of thing that I'd like to say when you're talking about having a workshop for people to understand what commissions and workshops do. You deal with macro issues every day, infrastructure, millions of dollars, things that have to happen. However, a good foundation where micro things like this go on and create goodwill, solidarity, feelings of involvement, feelings of support will only go to bolster for this city the betterment of those macro issues and the involvement and the support or the questions. So I'd ask you to seriously consider letting this program continue, because I do believe that it has a lot of merit. And when you look at this compared to some of the budget items, it's not comparable. So, and I didn't know if anybody had any questions about the program.
Mr. Chairman,
Council Carlin.
I don't have a question. I want to thank you for being here, Maureen, and for the report. And if the council considers adding a position and considers continuing the program, Councilor Napolitano made a plea just a few minutes ago for folks to come on or let us know about their interests in boards and commissions. Well, we're also hiring for full-time employees. And one of those departments is the Newport Police Department.
Mhm.
So if we are going, you mentioned the police department in your comments. If we are going to continue this program and bring on an extra employee or more, what we need to look at as a city, and I'm not sure if this is in the police contract, but if it is not, what we need to look at is ensuring that our police recruits who go to the academy are paid at least an hourly wage, which the Rangers are paid. At the moment, believe it or not, Rangers are paid more money than those recruits we send to the academy. And in my opinion, that can't continue. If we're recruiting actively for full-time, year-long Newport Police Department employees, police officers, we need to pay them appropriately. And the Rangers do great jobs, but the police recruits need to make more money on an hourly basis while they're at the academy than Rangers, with great appreciation and respect for the Rangers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Council Carlin. Additional comments?
Yes,
Questions?
I just want to say,
Councilor
I received a lot of comments from the public in regard to the Rangers. In fact, people were shocked.
Yeah.
And it was all good. It was all good. And the things that they were addressing were the things that council was addressing, and it was taking a lot of time. So I truly appreciate
And
what
you
they
know,
did this summer.
we can discuss any of the other issues, because what you brought up, Councilor Carlin, is something that I just couldn't address out above my pay grade. But I would say without a doubt that he was one of the biggest supporters of the program and was more involved with the de-escalation training and the mental health issues that we were dealing with and things of that nature. And I can honestly say that we received such positive feedback from the community. It's just obvious, and what I wanted to share is the community respects and wants this kind of thing. And it does help overall in the entire landscape, because we're all just a little bit of everything, which makes us the whole.
Maureen, that is probably the most appropriate use of above my pay grade as a pivot. It's probably the most appropriate use of above my pay grade as a pivot that I've heard so far. Council Carlin.
I fully support the Ranger program. Let my comments not be misunderstood. I say those in context with many times when de-escalation doesn't work, we need to bring the police actively into a situation at our many parks throughout the city. So
Right.
I say those comments, or I said those comments, and I hope everybody understands, underneath the picture, underneath a larger umbrella, underneath the bubble of a big discussion, Maureen.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair.
Council McKellar.
I'd actually as part of the workshop that will be scheduled for all the boards and commissions, I'd love to hear from the park rangers, if that's possible. I know I've introduced myself over the summertime to them. They're quite friendly, but I'd be curious to hear their input too on sort of their findings and their experience as well.
I'm sure would not be a problem. They've stayed in touch. They're amazingly involved, and they've got a great insight, and they're very articulate, and they're very succinct, and they don't give a lot of their personal opinions. They're very factual, so it works out very well.
Great.
Mr. Chair, I think that this park ranger program also shows our commitment to safety and of our parks and safety in the parks, also litter and smoking and things like that that people have to be reminded of at times, and so without involving the police and without being confrontational. So I think it shows our stewardship of the parks.
Yes, and I don't want to speak for anybody. The numbers would speak for themselves. And I know that Chief Duffy was looking at doing a transparent matrix about calls and things like that at some point in time too. But the point is we know that a lot of counselors and we know a lot of administration people receive countless phone calls on weekends for people complaining about smoking or this. And we know that that didn't happen this year. That's anecdotal. It's not scientific. But again, it goes to relationships and it goes to the harmony of the community, which a harmonious community is a lot more healthier to thrive and grow.
Mhm.
Additional comments or questions? All right, hearing none, all those in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion is passed.
Thank you.
Again,
Motion to approve a vittling license renewal, Moz LLC, doing business as Moz 181 Bellevue Avenue. Do I have a second?
Second.
any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion's carried.
Motion to approve an entertainment license expansion, Class B outdoors, Carpe Noctem Restaurant LLC, doing business as Fifth Element, to expand the entertainment by adding an outdoor skating rink at 105 Broadway, Monday through Thursday from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., Friday from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., and Saturday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is a hearing, Mr. Chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Councilor Romley.
can the applicant come up?
Derek Savas, 168 Cocktail Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Savas. I wanted to thank you for putting this ice rink together. We lost our ice rink in the downtown area some years ago. I miss it. I think having a rink like this is a boost to the community. I love, things in our community that bring people together. Ice rinks make people smile. So thank you for that. And I also want to say it's this counselor's opinion that Fifth Element has an outstanding steak. So
I appreciate that.
Additional comments or questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
when we redid Broadway 10 or so years ago, these were the kinds of things that I think that we had only dreamed about happening on Broadway. And it's all good. And I'm very appreciative of you stepping up. And I know that, gurneys or whatever they're calling themselves these days, they couldn't do it. So I thank you for stepping up.
Additional comments? I am thrilled to see this happening. Thank you for taking on the creativity to do this. I know that when we lost the rink for this current winter out on Goat Island, that was something that was missed by a lot of the community. And as somebody who spent almost 2 decades on the ice as a competitive skater, I am very excited to dust off the skates and get back out there as soon as you're open.
See you there then.
Looking forward to
I'm
it.
going too. I'm going to go tonight.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Motion to approve an entertainment license, new Class A indoor Boru Noodles LLC, doing business as Boru Noodle Bar, 36 Broadway and 51 to 53 Marlborough Street, to have entertainment Tuesday through Sunday from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is a hearing, Mr. Chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion's carried.
Motion to approve an entertainment license, new Class A indoor and Class B outdoor, The Quencher Newport LLC, doing business as The Quencher Newport 95 Long Wharf, indoors Sunday through Saturday from 12 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. and second floor deck Saturday and Sunday from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. This is a hearing, Mr. Chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Other comments or questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Councilor Carnum.
Been here this evening? Mr. Chairman, I'd like to, if the applicant is not here or the applicant's representative, it's always asked of applicants to be in attendance. I would like to delay this until the next council meeting.
second.
This is in the third ward, by the way. I'm not just doing this randomly.
I would second that.
Okay, comments or questions? and a delay is the proper term for this, right?
I would ask the
it's-
solicitor,
just-
actually,
To continue,
Do we continue it to the next meeting?
continue.
continue.
Okay.
David.
That's fine.
Continue to the next meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. There's been a motion to continue. It has been seconded.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This item is continued to the next meeting. And if we could please express to the applicant that we'd like them to appear before us next time. Thank you.
Appointments to boards and
Yep.
commissions.
Moving us to item 6, appoints of boards and commissions to the Historic Cemetery Advisory Commission, Elliot Caldwell, reappointing to a 3-year term expiring 10/14/2026.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion's carried. Moving on to added item, Planning Board, Paul McGreevy to a 3-year term to expire 12/9/2026.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. Finally, to appointment to the Historic District Commission.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I'm going to be abstaining from that vote.
thank you very much. Give you a moment. Appointment to the Historic District Commission, Ray Goddard as an alternate for a 3-year term to expire 2/3/2026.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. And
Next, we have a resolution honoring Michael J. Corey, Director of Human Resources, for his 34 years of service to the city of Newport. Do I have a second?
Second.
And Mayor, Jean.
Councilor
Councilor
Napolitano.
Napolitano, would you like to read
Is
the?
Michael
resolution?
here?
No.
Would you like to remove your resolution or do you want to?
Okay, no, no. And I'd like to read this because he has served the city admirably for 34 years. Whereas the members of the City Council in the city of Newport would like to recognize the Director of Human Resources, Michael J. Corey, for his many years of dedication and service to the city of Newport. And whereas Michael began his employment with the city as the personnel director with the city's finance department in 1989 and served with distinction in that capacity until January 2002, when he was elevated to the executive management department of the city manager, assisting in all human resource programs and services for the city. In July 2016, he was reclassified to Director of Human Resources, where he continued in his role until the city retirement, making him the longest-serving HR professional in Newport's history to date. Whereas Michael Corey has always adhered to the highest standards of ethical conduct and has sought to lead by example, to foster an environment of integrity, responsibility, empathy, and commitment to municipal service, thus acquiring 153 letters of commendation, along with 14 professional awards and recognitions as HR management practitioner. And whereas Michael J. Corey obtained his professional HR certification in 2007 for the public sector and in 2015 for the private sector, and has spent his career educating and promoting sound HR practices through speaking engagements held across the state and lectures at university level. And in October 2006, he developed and implemented a 5-community testing process for police officers, which was the first ever regional selection process held in the state's history. And whereas a highly regarded member of the community, Michael has contributed his time to many professional associations, local businesses, and organizations. And served as the president of RIIPMA, president of the Eastern Region Human Resource Officers, and the National HR, and has served in various committees as well as the Board of Trustees of the Rhode Island Interlocal Risk Management Trust. Whereas Michael has represented the city as an official greeter to the 1998 visit by President Bill Clinton, and established many employee-related activities such as Employee Services Awards, City Hall holiday decorations, annual health benefit fair, and many fundraisers and community outreach events. And whereas Michael has decided after 34 years of service to the city, it's time to retire and enjoy life and spending time with his family, relatives, and friends, pursuing activities and interests he has heretofore had limited time to enjoy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Newport hereby expresses its deep appreciation to Michael for his many years of distinguished service with the city, for his commitment, dedication to all the citizens of Newport, and wishes him well in his retirement and future endeavors. Signed by G. Marie Napolitano, Lynn Underwood Blakely, Mark Romilly, David Carlin III, Charlie Holder, Angela McCalla, Ziam Kem Savaradon. I move passage.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. Thank you very much, Councilor Paul. Mike, we hope you're watching.
Motion to amend chapter 2.120 of the codified ordinances entitled General Fee Schedule. This is a second reading, Mr. Chair, having to do with increasing the police detail officer rate from $60.25 to $65.20, and also adding $25 per hour for a 4-hour minimum for police vehicle detail rate. So I'm move approval.
Second.
Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Motion to amend Title 17 of the codified ordinance entitled Zoning to amend Section 17.8.010 entitled Definitions, 17.44.020A entitled R120 Residential District, Section 17.48.020A entitled R160 Residential District, Section 17.70.020A entitled Recreational District, Section 17.76.110 entitled Signs Permitted in All Areas, and Chapter 17.100 entitled Development Standards. This is a second reading, Mr. Chair. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilor Carlin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That was a lot of numbers, Lynn.
Yes.
Mr. Scott, I hope you're being paid by the number. I'm kidding, of course. This is what I mentioned earlier, Mr. Chairman, as the Vice Chair just specified. It's a second reading. This is an ordinance change for members of the public who may be interested. This is an ordinance change, albeit temporary, which creates the conditions for a major recreational event here in the city. It will allow us to bring the USGA's senior golf event to Newport, sponsored by the USGA and hosted by the Newport Country Club. They attempted to do this 2 years ago almost 4 years ago. During COVID, it was canceled, unfortunately, or postponed, and here we are today. It's important to note also that the ordinance change will expire in 14 days or a specific date in August. So I would ask my colleagues, as I did earlier, for support of this ordinance change. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Additional comments or questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion is carried. That takes us to item 10, City Council Priorities Dashboard. I don't think we need a motion or anything on this, correct? Quick bit of explanation as to what this is. As we're seeing tonight, sometimes our council meetings are very focused on a lot of the necessary ministerial functions of government. But we also have a number of tactical priorities this council has committed to focusing on advancing on behalf of the community and our constituents based on the feedback we'd received. This is a broad list that we put together at the beginning of this council's session a little over a year ago at this point. So this dashboard is our initial draft of how to actually track our progress on each of these items, hold ourselves accountable to it, but also so the public can understand that between these dozens of meetings, hearings, workshops, interviews that we're hosting, what it is that we see ourselves as advancing and how we're doing. Our hope is that this ultimately gets on the website in a slightly more interactive format, but for now, you have it included as part of the communications from the council. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn as council and convene as Board of License Commissioners.
Second,
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to approve the consent calendar in its entirety.
second,
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is so carried.
Motion to adjourn.
second.
Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion